G'day, Northern Woody. Okay, my bars have arrived from Burleigh. Now, I've already made a bit of a head start, but the lighting's not that great in here, so I'm just going to start. I don't know why the lighting's shit, but anyway, what I will do is, these are the parts I've laid out, right? So, they're the bars, the 14-inch high balls, right? They're polished stainless steel, so they look like chrome actually. They're pretty good. Now, I was just looking through the wiring. Now, I did myself a bit of a drawing before I started. Now, I've come to look at the wiring, and for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. However, the colours on here don't perfectly match what they're supposed to be. Now, the drawing of the original wiring harness, and this, bearing in mind, this is for the starter switch, so that's on the right hand side of the handlebars, so that's where your starter is. They're the ones I started with first. So what I've come to find is there's two colours here that aren't right. They're not part of the wiring loom originally. So it doesn't really matter. All that means is when I wire it up, I have to make sure that I'm using a different coloured code and put it on my plug, so it makes sure the right wire goes to the right plug. Pretty straightforward. It's not really a big deal. It's just surprising that they've got them wrong. But anyway, all the other ones match up, so that's good. There's a total of 14 wires you have to connect. Now, when it comes to connecting them, they've done this really neat idea, which I don't think there's going to be an issue. They actually push together, so look, they actually close in and go and get pushed on with the rest of them. So not a bad idea. Bit hard to see probably in the dark. I thought I'd make a head start on my vlog, but obviously the lighting's pretty shit, so I may just abort and start again tomorrow, in which case I'll do another vlog video again. But I just wanted to see, because I'm a bit impatient when it comes to my bars are here, I want to get them in. So yeah, anyway, looks like there's no soldering required, no crimping. Basically a nice snug fit on the plug, and you basically use the shrink wrap over the top of that, and then you shrink wrap the whole lot after that. So it looks like that's pretty good. I don't think anything's going to come undone. My dilemma is whether I try and feed them through before I put the shrink wrap on, or connect them up, put the shrink wrap up, and then pull the whole lot through. Not quite sure, because I'm not quite sure how far these wires go through the bars. So what I'm tempted to do is just feed them through without the harness on, and just see if there's enough cable. But I don't think there will be. I think I need to actually zip them up and then put them through. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't work, because they give you like the shrink wrap in the already cut to length, but to the end of the day it's no big deal to just get some more. I've got heaps of that stuff anyway. I bought some the other week, so I've got plenty of it. So if it doesn't work, you can easily pull them apart. There's no soldering, there's no mess. It's a really easy plug and play sort of. They say it's not plug and play, but literally it is. I've also got the clutch cable, should I say not cable, clutch hydraulic line and the brake line. You've also got new throttle cables. That's the old bars over there, and these are the new ones. So I've already threaded some string through. I decided to go with the string because it's so much easier. It's builder string, so it's pretty strong. I don't think it's going to break very easily, but I'm going to give it a whirl and see how I go, and then if it causes havoc, then I will revert back to the other way, but hopefully it'll work. So anyway, without further ado, I'm just going to turn the camera off. I'm not going to show me until I'm ready to pull it through, and we'll see how much of a arm wrestle that's going to be. Alright. Welcome, hunters, to Woody's shed. This is the start of the vlog for doing the handlebars, the Burleigh bars that have come this week. So I've been hanging out to start this project because, yeah, anyway. So we'll get started. I'll obviously do some editing because this is going to be a long drawn out process. So I've basically, all I did the other day was dummy them on just to have a look to see how it's at, and it looks really good. I've disconnected the battery as well, not just the fuse. So disconnect the battery, probably the most important thing you can start doing before you start. Now I'm gonna remove the top velocity stack box so we can get to the throttle cables, because they're going to have to come undone. I'm actually going to probably do the wiring on the bars first, get that sort of on the bars sort of in position roughly, just with the wiring through it, and then I'll concentrate on the clutch and the brake lines. The brake line looks a bit tricky because it's sort of tucked in the front down here, so we'll have to work out how we do that. I looked at the workshop manual. It doesn't really give you much of an information on how to remove them, so we're just going to have to be playing it by ear and see how we go. The clutch one looks relatively straightforward because it's a straight fitting. More than likely I will bleed the fluid until it starts coming out, just because I'd like to minimise the amount of air I'm introducing into the system, and then I'll do a complete flush of this brake fluid anyway, but this is later on. Just to start with, we're getting the bars on, we're getting the wiring through the bars to the point where I can connect the hand controls, and then we'll do the bleeding of the brakes and the clutch. They say if you're going to fully bleed them that you need to have a tool for doing it for ABS. We'll find out. If I do need to get it taken to the workshop later to get the front brakes done, then so be it, but fingers crossed we won't need to. I've done a flush of the system before and it hasn't created any issues, but you just don't know. But anyway, I shall get started. So obviously I'm going to speed up or even edit the spit out where I'm undoing stuff, because you don't need to see that. You get the idea. Take these off. Once they're off, I'm going to tape the throttle bodies just so nothing gets introduced, nothing gets dropped. It's safer than shoving rags. I don't like the idea of shoving rags down it. I prefer to just get some gaffer tape. Just tape it off. It's only temporary, just stops your heartache and anything dropping in there, because as much as I don't think anything's going to drop in there, you just got to make sure you prepare for the unprepared. Don't want any dramas. So to start with, I will put my glasses on because I can't bloody see, and we will start undoing those velocity stacks and get it started. So I shall continue. Like so. I'm also going to get my head torch because I can't bloody well see. So the throttle cables on this end, you probably want to see how they come out. They're pretty simple. Basically that's the throttle is open, sorry, the throttle is closed. In the closed position you get the left hand side, and it just goes obviously the reverse of getting, so it basically goes in like that, goes hooks around, and then this part goes into there. I'll just show you in case you want to know. This is all the stuff that you need to know, I guess, when you're putting it. Sorry about the camera. Sorry, trying to do two things at once and my hands aren't good. So it basically goes in there, hooks around into there, easy as. So what I'm probably going to do, because you can see how oily it is in there, I'm going to give that a clean as best I can. I'm not going to go stupid, but I'm going to clean it because that's pretty oily in there. And yeah, we will continue with the video. I'm probably going to go inside and do the wiring of the bars inside the house, just because A, I've got more light, B, I've got a table, and yeah, it's a bit easier to work with. So anyway, so as far as that goes, that's it. And the throttle cables are off. I've got one off on the floor there. And yeah, we will continue with this video. I've only got 8% of battery. I've got to change the battery anyway. Luckily I've got a set charged for the GoPro. But that's what the top of the throttle body looks like. So yeah, they're nice and easy. The brake line, I was just looking, because the one they give you, that's the brake one there that's got to come off. Now I'm a bit concerned because The cables they give me, I don't think go the same route to the clutch on this side. The clutch on this side, the brake on this side, that's the front brake. You only replace that one. Like I said, I'm going to do a vlog on that once the bars are on. I think I'll get the bars on first and then proceed, because I want to do the brakes and the clutch. I want to do them pretty much when it comes time to actually put the cables on. That's when I want to do it. So I'm just going to hopefully tonight get the bars on with the cables through, and we will go from there. I've also got to have something to eat because I'm hungry. It's dinner time. So it's after work on a Friday, so this is what I'm doing tonight. And I've also bought the indicator wiring so I can do that. Gonna have to put the cable for the indicators on at the same time I do the bars, wiring through the bars, because there's, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. But I've also need to get my heat gun so I can do that. I'm going to shrink wrap it in the house, and yeah, we'll continue in there. I have come to a dilemma. My initial idea of taking the master cylinders off last isn't going to be a thing, and the problem is, it's not really a problem, it's just a hurdle. So the hurdle is going to be, because I'm putting the mirrors up swept like that, this has to be fed through with the main cable. The problem is, I can do it, it's not really a problem, but this cable that goes through the mirrors needs to be routed on the outside. Unfortunately, it's going to go through here. So it's going to be like looped over the top, which I don't like the look of, but I'm not quite sure how to get around it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shrink wrap the controls for the right hand side, hand grips. I'm going to try and feed them in with the cable for the indicators. The indicators, yeah, that's the problem. It goes through the bottom of the basically, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this side of it, because this goes, obviously this goes like so. Right, so that basically goes under the bar and fits onto there as well. The cable actually for the indicators normally goes through this housing and then follows through with the rest of the wiring, so I had to sort of pull it apart to be able to put that through. So what that's going to mean, it's not really a problem. It is, but it isn't. The cable sort of will go that, and the throttle goes on this side. This bolts together like so, and the cable goes under there. And then this one, which is your indicators, I also need to lengthen, but before I lengthen it, I've actually got to thread it through, so it comes out here, because this is how it originally was done. And because I've decided to put the upside down mirrors, if you like, it creates the issue where now that cable, obviously that goes right up to the thing, but that has to all go through there, which is a pain in the ass. Because as you can see, the cable that I want to thread through, the only way it's going to work is to do that, and to me that looks like shit, having to have the cable go round the back like that. I really don't see another way that it can be done though, because yeah, it's a bit of a shit, to be honest. There's no other way, because the cable has to go through this housing, otherwise it's going to be pinched on the bars, which you don't want. So kind of, in effect, that's as much, that's what it's going to be like. Can't do nothing about it, which is shit if you ask me. I don't like it. I don't like it. But I don't see a way around it. So this is the dilemmas I'm faced with. So anyway, I'm going to cut the camera. I'm going to shrink wrap all those cables onto this. Shrink wrap onto these, so they're all the right length to get fed through the bars, and then I've got to put the shrink wrap on them over the whole lot, and then feed it through. But the problem is, I need to feed it through with the cable for this. It's not really, like I said, it's not really a problem, but the cable is going to finish up joined sort of there, so it's going to need to come out now. I just bought 2 meters roughly, so I'm going to halve it and I'll chop it off later when I work out how long it's going to be. I'm probably going to solder. I'm going to chop these off first. I'm going to solder these onto there with shrink wrap, because I don't have, or I went to my local electronics store and they didn't have the same plugs, the same connectors. So if I chop it, solder them on, and these will go back into the original plug on the bike. So not a drama. It's a good work. It's not bad to solder them. I like to solder them anyway, especially because they're going to be inside the bars. They're going to finish up, you know, kind of like just before the bend. By the time they get fed through and go like that, they're going to be like pretty much, yeah, they're not even going to come out the other end. So anyway, I will continue with the vlog and I'll explain what I've done once I've done it. It's just a bit long to be doing that on a video. It's going to take me ages, so anyway. Okay, so that was a battle and a half, guys, but basically I used this builder string, same as what you use for your string lines in your building bricky work. I've got this side on. I must say that was a real challenge. So what I've ended up doing, it's just sitting on there loose for now, but I ended up having to go under like that. I don't really like it, but I'm not sure how else I can do it. Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, but they don't really give you a provision. I'd like to know how other people have done it on the V-rods, because obviously that cable going through there, it has to go through there unless you modify it. So I'm not quite sure whether or not there's no other provision for the cable. It has to go under and in there like that, see? So anyway, for now that's what it's going to be. Like I said, I don't see how any other way they do it, but I'm no expert, but that's one set of cables. Luckily the next side, it did sort of tear I put a bit of electrical tape round, because the shrink they give you only goes to there. You can't get it over these pins, which is a bit frustrating, because it says on the instructions you can, but I might, I don't know whether I can get bigger shrink wrap to go over that, now that it's through the bars. The dilemma is, once you got the shrink wrap over these, this is very rigid, this section here, there's no give, that's like solid. So that's the only whinge I'm going to have about the Burleigh bars installation. You know, but carefully pulling them through. I didn't tear anything, so that's good. There's a little bit of a nick on there, and I did slice my finger, and I've got a real grown-up band-aid on it. Look, hoot, giggle and hoot. So yeah, that's the right-hand side. Like I said, I did have to disconnect the master cylinder, because because of this setup with the mirrors and the cable going through it, there's no real other way of doing it. So I'm going to have to disconnect the clutch master cylinder the same and do the other side. But it's pretty straightforward so far. It's just, you find that you don't really have to pull on this much at all. It feeds quite nicely through the bars. It's just this section here where they're joined is quite rigid, and I think it only just sort of gets through there. It's a bit of a bitch getting them around this way. And the other side you have 4 more plugs, so that's going to be interesting. 2 more plugs, sorry. This side has 8, that side has 6. So yeah, as you can see, I've got it through. They will just go straight onto the plug now, so they'll plug and play. Same, I've just got to work out the length of this, and I'm going to solder the other pieces that I chopped off onto the other end of this, wherever they end up being. And yeah, pretty much that's it. Muppets. Okay, right, so I'm ready to tape the end of the string to, now what I've done is I've soldered the indicator wires to just a length that's way longer than it needs to be, but I'm going to sort that out once it gets in the bike. All I want to do for the purpose of this exercise is we're going to pull this through. I'm hoping there's enough cable to come out here. I can unwind this and then we can plug in the extension cables and shrink wrap it once it's through the bars. I think it'll be much easier to do that. So I'm going to now tape. Probably happens ago. Last time I did this, I connected this end up. Not smart. But anyhow, let's get started. So all you basically got to do, I mean this cord is way longer than it needs to be, but I figured it doesn't really matter. So get your tape. So basically all I've done is I've soldered an extension piece of wire onto the indicators. They don't supply indicator lights, Burleigh bars don't supply the indicators, not sure why. But anyway, it's basically, so what I did was I chopped off the end because I couldn't get these from my local electrical shop. They didn't have these exact connectors. So what I've done is I've chopped these off, so with the intent of when I get the length sorted, I'll solder these and shrink wrap these onto the other end, and they will go into the original OEM switch block, which is what we need to do. So a bit of stuffing around, but at least it'll be right and we won't have to worry about you know, trying to source the right connectors and just turning into a nightmare, which realistically, for the sake of soldering it back together, I've just done that. So anyway, so there's my string. So what I usually do is start taping it about probably that far up with a bit of string overhang like that. And all that is just to get it started. Just go around a couple of times, it's quite tight. And then what I do is while I'm wrapping it, I'll then pull this one over. So you've sort of created a bit of a hook if you like. And that just gives it a bit of extra support when you're pulling it through, because it doesn't take a lot of effort to get the bars or the cable through the bars. It's just when it hits this bit, it's a bit tight. But like I said in the last part of the video, this time I've opted to try and see if I can have enough cable on the original harness to go and poke in. It's only got to stick out as far as that because that's where the connectors are. So as long as it comes out there, we'll be fine. If it doesn't work out, then I'm going to, I've had that on as well. If that doesn't work out, then I'm going to have to pull it back out and do what I did before. But let's hope. So to start with, just get yourself a bit of slack on the string. The string's going through the bars. So basically just start feeding it through. I'm going to put my glasses back on. I'll put my torch on my head so maybe we able to see a bit better. The light is crap in here, so you bear with me. I'm hoping it's good enough for you to get the gist of what I'm doing. So I hope you can see what I'm doing, but basically feeding the cable through. And obviously it would be smart of me to put that just at an angle so you can see what's going on. So all I'm doing basically is trying to thread this cable through. This one's pretty easy because it's a single. As you can see, I've already got it through. So it doesn't take a lot. What you want to try and avoid is cutting the cable on the sharpness of the bars where they've I mean, they have deburred them, but as you can see with my little kitty band-aid, it did cut the shit out of my finger. So you're basically just trying to gently feed it through at the same time without actually putting too much strain on the cable. You don't want to just pull at this end because you will probably cut. As you can see, if you just inch by inch, don't try and do like heaps at a time. As you can see, it's not too bad. It's a bit tricky. I'm hoping there's enough cable and we'll come out this end because we're close. As you can see, I don't know what the carry-on is on some of these shows where they say, oh, you know, you'll cut the wiring if you butcher it and stuff. You'd have to be pretty rough, I think. But in saying that, it is tricky getting it through to this bit. And yeah, you do have to pull a fair bit, but hopefully not to dislodge the... You just got to go gently. This end's good. This end's very sharp. So this end you're pretty much okay with because you're kind of just shredding it through as you go. But you kind of, yeah, you gotta wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. So what I did on the other side was I put the cable so it goes like that, and then when it's together you won't actually see it. So I'm getting very close to the wiring now. But it looks like the indicator wires is, yep, got that through. So there you go. So what I will do now is just, I've left the cap in the shed, so I'm gonna basically, oops, that's upside down too. You muppet. So basically that's gonna go, oops, but that's not going to be that tight. So what I've done, I've left it a bit loose, that way you can pull it through, and once you've got it in position, you can then, because you don't want it there, it's going to go actually like that. So it's as best as I can figure. It's going to go, you're not going to see it as much going that way. So I think that's what I'm deciding I'm going to do. So I will pause it now and go in the shed and get the switch block so I can just not tighten that but just get it on. And yeah, we're ready to rock and roll as far as putting the thing back together. Okay, so I've got my drawing here of the original wiring that I did for the left hand side. So left hand side controls, you've got a series of wires here, so all we've got to do is, I'll show you, just hook them up. So first things first, on the top we want orange with a white stripe, not the one with the 7. Like I said in the last video, Harley Davidson in their genius wisdom decided to put 2 wires exactly the same, opposite ends of the switch, but luckily they've put a little tag on it with the number 7. So what we can do, so we want orange with the white stripe, which is this one, right? You get your corresponding orange. They're slightly different. It's still orange with a white stripe, but yeah, it's like a twisted sort of way it does it. And you basically line them up so that they slide on the same. So they basically mimic the switch block. Sorry, other way. They mimic the switch block, the original switch block. So they go on like that. Okay, so then you get your next one, which is just the yellow. You don't have to sit here and do it in order, but I'm just showing you because this is the wiring they give you, which is pretty much matches your stock wiring. So, sorry, wrong way around. So basically, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but if you get them the wrong way around, they just don't match up properly, and you end up with, it just looks odd. So you basically match them up so it all matches up same, and they press, and they're quite a tight fit. Once you shrink wrap them, they're not going to come on. They're not going to come loose. They're not going to come undone. Now that you've matched them all up, yellow, yellow, and all the rest of it, we can start shrink wrapping them on. So they go on with quite a bit of room either side. So you go about there, grab your heat gun. Oops. Yeah, grab your heat gun. Grab your heat gun. So you want to make it so that you get an even equal space either side. So I worked it out to about there. Right, turn it on. Shoot it on. And spin it around so you get the other side. Go along, make sure it's nice and snug. Okay, that's that one. So all you really need to worry about is getting these all in there. Just thread them through. If you're unco, and you know it. So yeah, so basically they go through. The wires go through the shrink wrap. I reckon you can get bigger shrink wrap than this. Or you definitely can, but because I used to do work with these for jobs and stuff for customers on different things, and the car battery, you can get them to suit the car battery cable. So it's a bit annoying that they don't give you enough to cover it and also go over the rest of it, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not going to whinge about it. It's just, yeah, it would have been nice. But so on this plug, they didn't do it on this side, but they give you a grommet to go over the thing. So that just slips over there and it clips in, right? So you've got to match the wires. So here we go. We're going to match the wires with the way the wings are on there. I did the drawing. So orange and white stripe is the top. So orange and white stripe top. Oh, hang on. Nearly fucked it up. Alright, orange and white stripe. There's a little notch on the top. That you got to make sure that's the top. So that's the top, and also make sure your plugs, once they're in, it doesn't really matter, but I'm not gonna. So orange and white, plain yellow, plain yellow, dark blue. So the blue, I'm trying to get it so the wires don't, because there's quite a loose fit inside here, so you should be able to just get them in. So you probably can't see, I better do it so you can see. So blue, white on its own, which is that one, the top row. Okay, so that's the top row taken care of. Sorry. Did a bit. So yellow and black. So basically we want to swap these over to the other side. It's a bit tricky to do, but not impossible, just a bit tricky to do. Because you want to make sure they're all matching up. Right, so, and then on the bottom row you've got white with a purple stripe, which is this one. So what with the purple stripe? Ooh, the earring just went, honey. With the purple stripe. Yellow with a black stripe. Now I've got me orange and black, that's the one I chose to be that. And finally just the plain black one on its own. So once they're through there, you can slide that sort of all the way on. And the good thing about this is it keeps them all sort of nice and neat all the way to the back. So you can get them on like so. So you just separate the 4 layers like so. Okay. So we just double check them again before we put them in the block, because we want to put this little thing on so stop the water getting in them. So orange, yellow, blue and grey wires, because that's kind of what we want to do now. There we go, it's going on now. So you want it a fair way back, because otherwise you're going to have trouble getting those connectors on. It's a bit of a struggle, but once they're on, you can slide this insulation right the way back. See, now it's going on, because that obviously pushes up against that and seals, stops the water getting in. I don't know why the other plug didn't have it, but it definitely didn't have the rubber seal like this one does, so no idea. Alright, so that's pretty much top and bottom now. So you basically now, so you got orange, yellow, blue, white on the top. So basically you get your plug, right? And you flip them up so they've got to go that way in. Sometimes they don't want to go in as nicely as they came out. Once you get them in, they should stay there till you get the next one in. Yeah. Because I've got them the right way, I think. Yes. Making sure I had them the right way before I got excited. And then you got blue. Oops. Make sure you get them in the right way around, because otherwise they won't go. So basically you pull them up so they all pull up like that, right? And then all you got to do is push this down and it locks them in, because you pull that up with a pair of pointing nose pliers in there. If you lock it down, it's supposed to lock it. So I think that's locked. And then basically we just push in the seal and bingo. So yeah, you got to pull these out a bit. Oops. There we go. Now it's locked in. They're actually really easy. Doesn't take a lot of force to get them back in. And that's it. You're basically wired up now for your standard plug. So that just clips back into your original OEM plug on your bike. Can't mix them up. There's a black and a silver. So, or black and grey, if you want to call it grey. I don't know. Looks got a bit of a grey, I guess. And also you can't mix it up because this one's only got 6. This one's got 8 terminals. Alright, so all that's left to do with this is kind of shrink this one on, and it's done. Keeps them all neat and together. Keeps them all tight. Stops any moisture getting in. Shrinking. And that's it. We're done. Like I said, I think I've got some shrink wrap. I might see if we can put them over that whole lot then. I reckon I've got in my van a lot bigger stuff, because that stuff's a bit too small. It just needs to go over that. I reckon I've got some pieces. And then that's done. That's done. And then obviously I've left these longer than they need to be. We just chop them off. once we get the length sorted out, and yeah, we're good to go. Right, good morning people. I've neatened up this. I've put the wires in, they're connected back into the harness. All it needs to do now is the indicators, which I'll do. As you can see, I've got plenty of way more cable than I needed, but that's alright. And then I've just got to work out which one's which. So to do that, I'll probably just connect it to a battery, see which one lights up, and then yeah, wire it accordingly. So that's that bit done. The throttle cables I've just started doing. Really easy to do. I covered this up while I've still got one more ferrule to put in there for the cable, and then we can go through and adjust it. And then last of all will be the master cylinder. Now I've misplaced one of these screws, which has really annoyed me. I don't know why I've misplaced it. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably search the shed because it's going to be near somewhere. But that's a sneak peek at the bike without actually having it done. It's going to need a good clean afterwards. But yeah, we're getting there slowly but surely. So I'm gonna finish doing these throttle cables. I might be able to put the camera up here actually. You might be able to see what I'm doing, sort of thing. Now these are going to be adjusted once I've got everything in place. The tricky bit is going to be, I don't know why that's, yeah, anyway, what we're going to do is I'll just open the throttle up and pop my little, obviously being very careful, I don't want anything to go on the motor, but just take the tension off it for a minute just to get this ferrule in. Careful, make sure I cover that up. I want nothing dropping in there while I'm trying to do this, because that would be an absolute disaster. So basically, put that on, I will clamp it up, and we will go from there. Now, take them out of the throttles. So, referring to my workshop manual, always, it says point the front wheel straight ahead. Now, go straight. What I'm going to do is just nip up these ones just to hold it in place. T27. And obviously that's not where they're going to go, but it's just to get that in there because we don't want the cables. Now that one, as you can see, has got too much adjustment. So what you've got to do is put the screws back in. Just want to clamp it in position because it says rotate the throttle grip wide open and hold it there. Turn throttle adjuster 2, which is the throttle adjuster 2, which is I see now. Okay, so we can tighten that up. And then it says to turn the bars forward to the right. Rotate the throttle grip. Oh yeah, and it says, sorry, it says to adjust that an extra 3 turns, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we've done that. Rotate the throttle grip and release, be sure cable turns sharply. Okay. Turning a wing sleeve until the cable housing just touches the bottom of the pocket retainer on the throttle body linkage. So, not too tight. That's it. You just got to adjust it till it moves and then tighten these up now. Tighten these up so they can't move. Nip them up, son, nip them up. And then nip this one up. Still a bit too tight. Alright, there we go, people. So, get a good view of the head. The only thing I don't like, come here, my little camera friend. Get off the fucking. See this? It doesn't line up. This bracket here kind of pulls them in, so I don't know if I'm happy with that. I don't think that's supposed to be like that. We'll see the other cables didn't relied on this for it to touch. They didn't have this crimped connection. They were just straight end of the linkage on there. So yeah, and I think that just tucks under there. Once it's all together, that'll tuck under the headlight, so you won't see that there, and should be good. It's getting there, it's coming together. Clutch and brake lines, they're the next tackle. So I'm going to leave that like that. Obviously I'll probably put the camera like that so you can see what I'm doing. So yeah, we're getting there. It's long and it's tedious, but you got to get it right. If you don't get it right, then you're going to have problems later. So next thing, I've got to go along and snip all the cable ties for the clutch, because the clutch runs through here, down here. Should be pretty straightforward, but we shall see, because obviously that went up there. You get all new banjo bolts and washers. So So I'm going to undo the clutch down there. Hope you can see what I'm doing. I was going to chest mount me GoPro, but then I thought that might be annoying as well because we'll be moving around too much. And I hate watching people do videos where they move the camera so much where... Shit. Didn't really think that through, did I? You muppet. Because I've actually got a container specifically for bleeding brakes that I put the fluid in. Back to you. So let me just drain out the fluid. Don't want to get this shit on the paint, obviously, because it's stock 4, very aggressive, ruining paint jobs. Now they give you the whole lot for this. They give you a hard line that comes out to about here and then you screw it in, I believe, but I'll look at that in a minute. Oh, and I missed the cable tie, there's one there too. Of course there is. There we go. Just once you undo it. So now I'm going to, what I did yesterday, which was a pretty good idea actually, was put some tape around it. It'll just stop any residual. I'm going to put the brake fluid out of the way because you don't want to knock that bastard over. So for the sake of getting fluid everywhere, I'm just going to tape it up. Doesn't matter how much of this shit you use because I'm not reusing these hoses. And same on this end, it's just got to stop the drips coming out, that's all. Right, we'll just have a spit. And this is the car mixes up, there's one's really long and one's not. That's the brake, that's the clutch. So obviously, for obvious reasons, the clutch is going to be this side, for obvious reasons. And yeah, it's going to go through. So yeah, this is a bastard, but it's a bastard because you just got to thread it through, but you've got to be patient, which is something I don't have. One on that side, one on that side. Yeah, 14 mil. Actually. Yeah, 14 mil. Because you need to know. Yeah, that block in there, that I had to take that bracket off. Still couldn't get it off. It helped a little bit, but there was no way of getting it out without undoing more and more stuff, and I wasn't prepared to do that, so I just chopped it. And there you go. I chopped the end off it, got it out, got the new one hooked up because the new ones just flex all the way, so there's no issues there. Not entirely happy with the way they do it, but that was probably the neatest I could think of without you know, you want to have a bit of curvature in it. There was not a lot of room to put the cable through anywhere else. It needed to come back through like that. So unfortunately that's for now, unless someone else knows a better way of doing it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So everything's ready to go. I need to bleed the clutch and the brakes. I might require some help later with either Mike or my son Matt might come around and help me do that. Just, it's easier if you've got two people. But I might attempt it on my own. It just depends. I can do the, it's just, yeah, I can probably do it on my own. It's just a pain in the ass. I did rig up a thing with my Sportster that I had a bit of tube that I was able to actually pull the clutch in and use the thing to hold it there, but ideally you want someone to hold it because yeah, it's just saves a nightmare. But what I'm thinking about doing is, when it comes to it, I'll disconnect the line just off of here and I will actually pump it till it's in a bucket. That way I'm not getting a hell of a lot of air in here, and it should be just a case of getting the air out of the line and straight out, and we should be good. Shouldn't be any issues. Same with the brakes. But yeah, so that's where we are at, and I guess, yeah, we'll go from there, and hopefully we will get this sorted this afternoon. I've got to go out for a bit, so you won't know because it's on the vlog. So that'll be the next step. I've got the bar set up. I've still got to find my bolt, which is frustrating as all hell because I thought I bought everything in a bucket, but obviously no, didn't. Stupidity. But you get the gist, and that's looking pretty good, and I think I was happy with the positioning of it. I still might tweak it a bit, but as far as like looks and aesthetics, I wanted it to be sort of like in line that way with the forks. I don't like it when you have to go forward too much, but we'll see. You might have to, depending on the riding. But I really do like the way its position is now. I really love it. I think it's great. I think I'm going to love it. Yeah, if I sit on the bike now, like, everything's just, there's no more like that sort of like that anymore. It'll be more sensible with the forward control. Oops, with the forward controls it should be. Ooh, gear now. That's better. So yeah, with the riding position and the mirrors, I'm hoping they are cool. They look cool. I'm hoping they function enough for me to see. But yeah, that's it. It's looking good, isn't it? But yeah, nice riding position. No more, you know, stretch. It should just make it more enjoyable to ride. And yeah, so once it's all back together, I'm going to do a service on it. The throttle's nice and loose, like nice and free. There's no sticking points in that. Just brilliant. I'm loving it. That's how the beast works. So yeah, it's good. Anyhow, we're ready to go. Alright, now this is the finished product of all that work. I'll just talk through what I did because there was quite a few dramas. Well, not really dramas, but okay. When I installed the bars, you could see the cable cluster. They didn't have any provisions to hide that, so I made this plate myself so that it looks like part of the factory, which, you know, I think it looks good. That's just my opinion. But anyway, that's the Burleigh bars, 14-inch Burleigh bars. The cable's nice and neatly tucked through there. I've positioned the mirrors. Also had to swap the mirrors over, swap them over because the riding is on the upside down otherwise. Just little things, little attention to detail. Did the clutch, did the brakes, all perfect. I have put my lowering blocks back on because this bike now is not for tour, it's just for me riding it. And yeah, as you can see, she's finished. The angle of the bars, I'm happy with the way it looks. I will take it for, I haven't taken it for a ride yet, I still haven't been out. Just trying to finalise a few details on it. But yeah, she's ready to go, and can't wait to take her out on the street because the riding position is just brilliant. Some of the vlog, or most of the vlog, I didn't go through me actually working on it, and the reason for that was because I had so many little dramas that caused headaches along the way. I stated in the video I wasn't going to take these off until at last, but I couldn't put the cables and everything through because it's all attached to the switch block, which is attached to your clutch and brake master cylinder. So I ended up just taking the lines off, taping them up so it didn't drip any fluid anywhere, put them together in my kitchen, in my dining room should I say, put it back on, did the clutch cable, goes all the way through up the frames, cable tied pretty much exactly where it was cable tied before. Comes up, I adjusted the throttle cables, put them all on. That's a bit of a process as well. Airbox cover back on. I'm going to actually do a major service on it, and I'll probably vlog that just so that you can see what's involved when I do a major service. It's not due for valve lash clearances yet. I think we've got another, well, we've got ages to go. It's 24,000 Ks and the next one was 48,000 Ks. It's only done, I think this has done 33 from memory. Let's just have a look. We're going to fix the clock and everything, but 34,560. It's due for 35,000 K service. My bead, that's how many Ks I got out my tyres so far, 44,120. Fuel, and obviously you've got to set the clock. I'll show you how to set the clock while I'm here. So you press and hold the button, Z down, Z like that, and then you'll go 20 over 24. I like 24 hour. That's just me because I'm a bit weird. Now the time is actually 13:40, so we go 13 and then we press and hold the button. It's so easy. And then the only thing they didn't do was put a provision so you have to click through the minutes, unfortunately, so by the time I get there it'll be 41. But the hour in Adelaide is due to go on soon, so we'll say 41. Press and hold it, and bingo, there's your time. I've put the headlight back on, put a new bulb in. They're just the standard bulbs. I didn't put anything fancy in there, no LEDs or nothing yet. And that bulb was blown, so, and obviously everything works now. The high beam, pretty bright. Yeah, we're ready to go. I got my blue lights on, my blue light disco. But just look at this angle. I love this angle. Like, it is absolutely stunning. So yeah, like I said, I haven't been out on it yet. The weather has just turned to shit. My son just got his brand new Kawasaki Ninja yesterday. I went and helped him get it. And yeah, so he's excited to get on the road, and we'll probably do some vlogs together. I'm planning a trip very shortly to Victoria, and we're going to spend a couple of days there, and just, yeah, mainly to get his bit of experience, which is good, and also gets me out. I'm not going to take the V-Rod, I'm going to take the electric ride, because we are doing some camping. But no, I just wanted to show you the finished product of the bars, and the next time you see us we'll be out on the road hopefully, and you'll be able to get an idea of, well, I'll get an idea of what she looks like going on the road, because I'll probably hand Maddie my GoPro and he can film me going along. And yeah, we should be good. I just got to detail it, do this. I've got to take it for a ride, do the service, do the detail, and then she's ready for the summer, which is yippee around the corner. And I'm so excited that summer's here finally. We actually might get to get out and enjoy ourselves. So anyway, I'll conclude the vlog. So all in all, it took me, I started the project Friday night and finished it Saturday afternoon. When I say, and I still had a few little things to do, but I pretty much finished it Sunday. And yeah, I wasn't quite sure where the cables were going, because to start with they were all out here and they looked ugly, so I've actually tucked them in originally where they went behind. They originally went under here and through the bars, but you can't do that on these ones, so they've just gone through the I'll turn it off so I don't flatten the battery. They've just gone through behind the cover, which I made as well. So, and indicators indicators work on the right side, so there you go, bit of ingenuity. The wiring harness turned out really neat. You can't see it because it's all tucked in behind here, but the plug and play system, just brilliant. Like, no dramas whatsoever. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I've lowered it an inch, just an inch. Ideally, eventually, I'd like to get some progressive shocks or something better, but for what it is, it looks pretty neat. You can't really tell unless you look really closely that it's got lowering blocks on it. And yeah, we're done and dusted. So ride time, just got to register it and we'll ride it. And we'll see you guys out on the road. Oh, we'll see you guys out on the road for the next vlogs that I'm going to start doing, because summertime's coming. I'm going to be riding a lot more. And we'll probably get some more trips on the electric glide, which will be good too. So, and then the Sportster, we'll get finishing on the Sportster and take that out, because that's ready to go as well. Motorcycles that I can pick and choose which one I want to take out. Exciting. So anyway, I'll shut up now, and I've been tidying up my shed, and it probably doesn't look like I have, but yeah, it looks a lot neater. I'm starting to pack things up, just trying to tidy up. I've got a big rubbish box out there that I'm putting my shit in, so yeah, anyway, I'll shut up now, so I'll see you later.